All right. Hi there. I'm Luke Stalzer, a part of Team 7 here. I am currently finishing up my last semester in the BSN program and graduating next week. So right now I currently live in Marshalltown. I am an EMT at Central Iowa Healthcare here in Marshalltown. And when I become a nurse, my hope is to stay in the emergency field or some kind of critical care. Not sure yet, but I'm excited to be graduating. And yeah, what about you, Lori?
I'm Lori Shaban. I'm an RN. I graduated August of 2013, and I went right into the CCU over at Mercy for a year, straight out of school, which was kind of crazy, fun but crazy. Now I work at Methodist on a med surg floor. I'm also getting my BSN and will be graduating in December. I wish it was next week, like you, but
No.
December I'll be done. I see a light.
Yeah, the light is at the end of the tunnel, that's for sure. So we spent our time volunteering for the Iowa Homeless Youth Center in Des Moines, which is kind of an organization under the Youth and Shelter Services of Iowa, which is based out of Ames. So they do the Iowa Homeless Youth Outreach, they do the Lighthouse Transitional Living, and then the Buchanan Transitional Living. So we volunteered there at a few of those different places. And it really opened my eyes to the homelessness in the Des Moines area of youth and the challenges that they face. It was really beneficial volunteering there. We were able to talk to the kids, understand their backgrounds, and it made you definitely reconsider how they're being treated in the healthcare system. And kind of opened your eyes to that. So I don't know if Lori has anything to add from that.
Yeah, so we did pick this project, and I'm glad we did. The staff over there was really great to work with. I felt like they had great communication skills, and they also were really organized on helping us get our hours in, and then I did get to meet a couple of the homeless youth over there and just get a feel for um, the challenges that they have. But I was also very impressed with how much the youth center does for them, from everything from their basic needs to getting them a secondary education.
Okay, so we can begin our presentation. Um, so the history and the mission of the Iowa Homeless Youth Center. The Iowa Homeless Youth Center serves homeless youth ages 16 to 21 or up through 25 years old if that female is pregnant or parenting. It helps the youth transition successfully to adulthood through transitional living programs, street outreach services, and meal site and an aftercare program. So there's a lot of services that they offer that definitely assist these youth in finding a way back off of the streets and into being successful and contributing members of society. So some statistics on homeless youth. There are more homeless people right now than ever before. Across the United States, more than 1.5 million of the homeless are youth. So that's a huge statistic that should not be taken lightly. Statistics in Iowa, 19,526 Iowans were homeless in 2012. And in the last 2 years, Iowa Homeless Youth Centers have worked directly with over 800 youth that are homeless or are at high risk of becoming homeless in the near future. So that's a lot of kids that they work with on a yearly basis. Some challenges of the homeless youth. Obviously, there are many challenges, but just to name a few, they don't have a safe place to sleep at night. They don't know when or where their next meal is going to come from. They're hungry. They don't have much energy to do things, let alone learn. They're often dirty and don't have clean clothes or access to somewhere that can clean their clothes. Um, they often get sick because of the social determinants that kind of determine their health disparities, but they don't have a doctor to go to. Many of these females end up becoming pregnant because of a lack of education and basically, yeah, just a lack of education on safe sex practices or abstinence. And then they end up parenting with no support or childcare, or they have no transportation and ways to get around. So whether that means a bus pass or a bicycle, they don't have that luxury that most people do. So what we saw were that a lot of these organizations, from the Lighthouse to the Outreach Center, helped with a lot of these different aspects or challenges that these homeless youth face.
Yeah, so that was one of my questions that I had asked the last time that I volunteered was, even though the services are all in downtown Des Moines and the new center is in downtown Des Moines, I asked them, how do the youth actually get to these places that they need to get services from? And the answer was pretty much that they had to walk. They do have, vans where they go out looking for children, but they mostly have to walk and get to the services themselves. So
Yeah,
I'm going to go. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say it's definitely sad, but it's a reality. So
Yeah. So I'm just going to go over what the Iowa Homeless Youth Center actually provides and what we saw while we were there. But they actually have education services and support that they offer to the young people who need help in finishing school, getting their GEDs, or getting started in college and post-high school trainings. And of course, we all know that if they're to get anywhere in life, you're going to need the education to be able to get a job. They have employment services and support, and they offer that to the youth that need assistance and how to job hunt, the clothes that they need to wear for interviews, how to prepare for those, and then how to actually keep the job once they have it. The Lighthouse program is it's actually a house or a home where women that have children, women that are 16 to 25 and have children, can live, and they can actually live till up there can live there up to 2 years. And the program is free to them, but they have to either be going to school or have a job, and they have to actually put away 60% of the earnings that they make, and they save that for them so that they have it when they come out. I've done some previous work with Lighthouse, and I was really impressed with their Hand Up program of teaching the students how to actually live once they get out of these programs.
yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting at the Lighthouse as well. That they do checks of their little apartment areas every day, and that they have to put 60% of their earnings away to save up for the time that they're released from there. So it was kind of an interesting program.
Yeah, and they have to cook their own meals. They have to clean. They have to do everything that a typical person who lives out on their own has to do. So I think that those are great skills that youth need. I mean, when you don't have a stable home life or parents that teach you that, somebody has to.
True.
Um, So the Buchanan transitional living program is where Luke and I first went and met with Rosa, who was the volunteer coordinator. And so we were able to see that facility. And that's where they have young men and women from 16 to 21 can learn and practice skills, kind of like the lighthouse, but without children, where they can learn to maintain independent living on their own. They they can't be in the transitional living center during the day, so it's more of a place for them to be able to sleep, and then they need to be out doing something productive during the day. They also save their earnings as well, like the lighthouse. Um, Another program they have is their post-secondary education retention program. I was pretty impressed with this. I just recently learned about it, probably on my last day when I went and toured the new facility. But they help the youth that are in the program to earn degrees either at DMAC or 4-year degrees at Grandview or Drake. This, of course, as we know, the college education is what gives them a livable wage to be able to get out and actually break all of the cycles that many of these youth face all the time. So their primary theme is to again just to promote self-sufficiency, and they in the past semester worked with 14 youth in this program, and 6 of them out of the 14 qualified for the dean's list. That's impressive to me. That shows that their programs are really working, and that you know, we can't give up on homeless youth just because apparently we've got some pretty smart ones out there.
True.
Yeah. Another thing that I actually would probably go back and volunteer for is their outreach program. They actually go to the camps down by the river, which I've been to before with Joppa. And they go down to the camps. They go and drive the streets every night in Des Moines, looking for youth that are in need, or if they find one that is sleeping on the street. So they take a van every night and go looking for them to pick them up. They also go to the Polk County Jail and talk to anybody that's in the age range for their services, and let them just know what they've got and what they can offer to try to break those cycles of getting in trouble. And then let them know that that they have a homeless shelter for them to go to. That would be something I would definitely be interested in. I think outside of class, just going out and educating, and just finding people that really need help.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I agree.
Yeah. So Reggie's Sleep Out is one of their main fundraisers that they do every year. Now, the Iowa Homeless Youth Center, from what they told me, does not get government funding. This is not a government-funded charity. It's all private donation and community donations. So, they don't use the facility for the Department of Human Services, if they take kids away or that kind of thing. But it's completely community funded. So they do a fundraiser called Reggie's Sleep Out, where they give people just a little taste of what it's like to be homeless. I don't think you can ever really, make that scenario up. But they have people that all gather at Drake Stadium, and they bring boxes and they decorate their boxes, and they pretty much sleep in their boxes so that they can kind of get a little taste of what it's like to be homeless and be out on the street or have to live in a box. this has been, I think they've been doing this for quite a few years. I want to say 10 to 15 years. It's been very successful for them. And it's fun for the community to come in and raise awareness of all the homeless that we have.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that, Luke?
I have not ever done that. I've heard about it, so, but I've never actually been a part of it. No.
And then just before I leave the what they're doing for everyone, I did get to tour their new facility that they're still trying to get open because of a few little glitches with the city, and but it is just a phenomenal. I don't know if you got to go there, Luke, but it is gorgeous. I mean, they're going from, you know, a place that was not very nice looking whatsoever to just a gorgeous facility that the community all got together and provided for all the services that the Iowa Homeless Youth Center provides. And I was very impressed with it. It's very nice.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed too. It's a very nice facility with, you know, a huge like industrial kitchen and nice beds for the youth um, to go to, and just it was really nice compared to the outreach center that was on MLK or still is.
Yeah.
That is dilapidated. It almost looks like it needs to be torn down. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
So, I mean, it was pretty bad. Yeah, I was impressed with the kitchen. The kitchen about blew me over. So
I know.
they'll enjoy working in there.
Yeah. So there are definitely long-term challenges that homeless youth face, and our list is short compared to all of the ones that are possible. But of course, mental, physical, and sexual abuse. Um, there's a reason why these kids are on the streets, either if their parents have kicked them out of the house, they don't have any family, they've been abused, whatnot. So there's always that trauma that lingers that we're going to definitely have to assess and care for before we, find them a place or get them an education or something along those lines. Long-term foster care, juvenile justice. So we know that kids are shuffled through the foster care system, and that's not a great thing for them. So actually, there's some research that states being in a foster home is sometimes worse than actually living on the streets, just because there can be severe emotional trauma in the foster care system. Mental illness is huge. There's a huge lack of mental health services, especially for youth. So we always need to be cognizant that they could have a mental illness and how to identify that and treat it. Behavioral issues, some developmental delays, school failure. Like I said, obviously there's a reason why they're on the streets. Have they dropped out of school? Did they never attend school? As far as college goes, that's something that you want to work towards, but you'll have to, definitely have to build up. Unemployment, health problems, victimization, legal issues. So we know that homeless youth are at risk for drug use, different illegal activities, burglary, robbery, assault, stuff like that. So they're going to have legal issues that they have to face, and they're probably going to end up incarcerated. So they have a very few sources of positive support and guidance. Like we said earlier, young parents and pregnancy is a huge issue. And then there's a stigma that goes along with being homeless that they have to overcome. And that can be very difficult to do.
Okay, so the nature of our project was to be a servant leader to the homeless youth in Des Moines. And with Iowa Homeless Youth Center is in the middle of, like I said, moving into a new facility. And so we helped with some of that, getting beds, new bedding washed and getting beds made. And just really, we just did whatever they needed, sorting donations and also getting to talk to some of the youth and just and finding out what in the future we might want to help with. Um, we, I think we really, and both of us really enjoyed our project on this. Um, so the goal of our project was to immerse ourselves in the experience, helping homeless youth in Des Moines. And what we found was great need for services and donations. The new center does have 10 emergency beds. And when I asked the staff member that gave me a tour, I said, well, what if you don't have anybody that night? Then the staff stay overnight. And she goes, that's never an issue because we always are almost completely full all the time. So, and I think she said that the youth can actually stay in those emergency beds up to 30 days. But she said 30 days doesn't really get anything accomplished. So they tend to let them stay longer than that.
So the analysis and assessment of our project outcomes, what we learned from this project is that there is a great need for homeless youth services in Des Moines. We saw that firsthand with volunteering and the number of kids, like Lori just said, they don't have a problem with filling beds at night, which is just amazing. So it definitely raised awareness of the need that we have for services for the homeless youth in our community. It definitely takes many people to work, volunteer, and donate to be able to provide services to the underprivileged. So volunteers and donations are definitely where organizations like this strive because, like Lori said, they don't receive any government funding. So it's important that, we consider the principle of giving back. And like Lori said earlier as well, the staff were very nice, easy to work with. They were helpful. They encouraged us to interact with the youth. They encouraged us to help out where needed. And they kind of brought us on as like a member of their team. And we'd only been there for a few days. So they were very nice and helpful. The staff have great servant hearts and they love what they do. You can tell. They're not probably making the best money, but each one of them enjoys the work that they do for the homeless youth, and they definitely encompass all of the values of a servant leader. That's for sure. And finally, we definitely enjoyed volunteering and working with the staff and the youth at the Iowa Homeless Youth Center. It's definitely expanded our horizons. It's made us understand the values and aspects of a strong servant leader, which is important in any aspect of life, but especially in healthcare. As we go on to get our BSNs, that's a component of the BSN program is leadership and management. And this course has, taught us how not to be a boss or a dictator, but how to lead people and have them follow you in your mission, which is critical to the success of an organization. And technically, I think I would rather work for a leader as opposed to a boss any day. So I don't know if Lori has any final thoughts on that.
No, I think you said it well. I was just going to say thanks to Luke for being my partner for this semester, and
thanks to you.
And you'll do great things, and I think we're good.
Yeah, good deal. All right.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.